So let's start at the very beginning. Here we go. So today I'm going to talk about how hormones affect our vision before, during, and after menopause. And so let's start with what matters. I'm going to um, ask you, do you care about eyesight? If so, raise your hand or put a one in the chat. Great. Are you bothered by tired eyes? If so, raise your hand, put a one in the chat. I can do both. Do you experience blurry vision sometime during the day? If so, raise your hand and put the one in the chat. Well, you are my group of people. Well, let me tell you who I am. My name is Katie L. Friedman. I'm a licensed dispensing optician. Sometimes you see the initials after my name, LDO. I also have lots of certifications, and basically, I am your eyesight advocate. I fill vision prescriptions much like a pharmacist fills medical prescriptions. I'm the founder of the International Vision Institute. And why am I doing this? Well, I believe that those diagnosed with eye diseases deserve to connect with family and friends by having a vision advocate to help them navigate the dark places of fear and uncertainty on their journey toward low vision and blindness. So, why do hormones intrigue me? Well, during my apprenticeship in contact lenses, what happened was that okay, so here I am. I was going to college in the morning and working during the day, um, and then going to school at not optical school at night. And after optical school, the teacher hired me to be like further extend my apprenticeship. And he owned a hard contact lens manufacturing lab, and it's under the auspice of the contact lens center. So we saw weird diseased eyeballs all the time. And so um, I got the opportunity to do the workup on one of the patients, and I did the testing, and I looked at the chart, and I said, I think I may have the wrong chart, because your eyeball is not the same shape as the eyeball that I tested and what's on this chart. And so I did it again. And I said, are you on any medication? Because this doesn't make sense. And she said, oh, please don't tell anybody. I'm pregnant. And my wedding isn't for a little bit, isn't uh, for like uh nobody's supposed to know I'm pregnant. And it was like, okay, now I know why I'm doing the pre-testing, because nobody's supposed to know that you're pregnant. And that was when I got the first hit. Oh my gosh, hormones affect the shape of the woman's eye, and it affects tears. And so thinking, why doesn't anybody talk about it? Well, now you know why sometimes you're going to hear stuff from me that you don't hear from anybody else. First of all, I have certifications to fit people with glasses. I have an extra special certification and higher certifications for contact lenses, even though many of you know me as the low vision specialist. Now you're getting to know another side of me. And But at the very beginning, I started with hard contact lenses, and then I fit gas permeable lenses. The gas permeable lenses could not be modified. When I first opened up the first optical department in a medical facility, I was able to help people with hard contact lenses, and I was able to polish the lenses, and I was able to make modifications. Cannot do that with rigid gas permeable lenses. We were already into the first phases of soft contact lenses. And with people with diseased eyes, sometimes I put in on a soft contact lens and then I put a gas permeable lens on top of it. Really, really just far out stuff. And then they finally made that into what's called the hybrid lens. And those are being sold all the time now. And I was also fitting bifocal and toric lenses. And these were the years when they were just experimenting with toric lenses. That means that an eye that has astigmatism. And again, what I was experiencing was women when they were on their cycle or was having a change in life could not wear the soft contact lenses. The gas permeable lenses were a lot easier for these women. But when the eye changes shape, the lenses were scratchy and they didn't fit right. And so they had to wait until they were over that time. Are you seeing that I have again another level? So today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you guys three parts. First, part one is just the science. You're going to get some technical stuff from me. And then we're going to navigate those places of the different shifts in life. And then I'm going to be ending with the last two-thirds about foods and exercises and what to do about it. Kind of like my holistic approach to everything. So most women, they've kind of figured out that, the hormones affect their mood, their sleep, and their metabolism. But many don't realize that hormones influence tear production, tear quality, corneal thickness, visual clarity, and eye pressure. Hello, eye pressure important. The key concepts are the eye contains receptors that contain the estrogen, progesterone, and this is why you guys also are affected by this, the androgen, which means that vision can influence, it can fluctuate with hormone changes. It can fluctuate within the time of day. If somebody is diabetic, and they don't have the insulin and everything under control, vision's going to fluctuate. If some guy, if the progesterone level is down, it flux. Are you getting the big picture? Okay, onward. So the structures that are affected are the lacrimal gland, which is involved with tear production, meibomian glands, the oil layer of the tears. We're going to talk more about that in just a little bit. Corneal, lens, retina, and the hormones influence inflammation levels, tear stability, corneal hydration, focus ability. Does any of this sound familiar? Yeah. Hormonal shifts often show up first as eye problems or fluctuating vision. Let's talk about the tiers. Well, tier one is oil, um, and that's part of the evaporation component. The second one is water, hydrating and nourishing the eye. And the third is mucus, which helps the tears adhere to the surface. And when any of this is disrupted in any way, we experience burning, gritty sensation, blurry vision, contact lens intolerance. And technically, when we're not in harmony and something's out of balance, it just feels lousy. So there's things that we can do about it. Well, during puberty and monthly cycles, our hormones fluctuate, dry eyes during certain cycle phases, changes in contact lens comfort, and temporary vision fluctuations. When disrupted, people experience the same thing, blurry vision, burning, gritty, contact lens intolerance, and all that kind of stuff. When a woman is pregnant, we have corneal swelling, slight prescription changes, light sensitivity, contact lens intolerance. Are you seeing a pattern here? When disrupted, people experience burning, gritty sensation, blurry vision, contact lens intolerance. Oh my goodness. It doesn't get any better because postpartum, the hormone levels drop and the symptoms are the same thing, dry eyes, tear instability, and irritation. And what do people experience? Okay, getting the picture. Why do I share all of this? Because hormones begin fluctuating more dramatically. We're going to see it more. And when I asked AI to give a picture of all of these dry eye, fluctuating vision, blurry sensation, difficulty with screens, this is the picture they gave me. So the lesson is that even AI cannot describe the discomfort that a person feels when they experience the dry eyes, when they experience the fluctuating vision, the burning sensation, and then the difficulty with seeing screens. We're going to take a bit care of that today. So, um, when dry eye becomes common in menopause, let's go move that around. Um, the estrogen declines, the androgen declines, and these are the hormones that regulate the tear production and oil gland function. The result of all of this is tears evaporate faster and tear surface becomes irritated. And women often complain of these things. And I'm going to just share with you at this point, doctors don't care. No, 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 no. Let me rephrase this. If you're going to an eye doctor, a lot of times they'll hear it, this, and their attitude, my experience being, okay, so one of the things that I've done in all of my career is I go and I sit in the room with the doctor and I take notes for the doctor. It's called a scribe. And women are complaining of this. And the doctor will say, um, oh, just take tears. I've got some tears stuff. You just take tears. And in the world, according to Katie, it's more than just tears, you know? Sometimes, we go to the doctor, eye doctor, and we say, we're having all of these problems. And we assume maybe we need stronger glasses. And when the real problem is there are more issues regarding tear and tear instability. We're going to take care of part of that today. Are you guys up for that? Does that sound like something you're interested in? Yes, yes. Put a one in the chat. No? Thanks. I know at least where I'm coming from. I know where we're going. Hey, practical ways to support eye comfort. Ta-da! You can do lots of different things. Cindy knows this. Some of you others know this. The daily habits that help. And I have them all on the screen at one time for a reason. We're going to go them one at a time. Okay. The 20-20-20 rule. Give your eyes a break today. And every 20 minutes, look up from your computer. Join me. Look up from your computer. Look out somewhere. I'm looking out and all I see is it's raining. And I look to the other end. Okay, I see some pictures on the wall. And then I come back, and that was supposed to be 20 seconds. And I squeeze blink. Okay, every 20 minutes, look out at least 20 feet for 20 seconds. And then when you squeeze blink, you're taking those tears, those three components of those tears, that we've been staring at the screen and they've separated and we need to bring them back together. And that's what the squeeze blinking is. Okay. Warm compresses. Take a washcloth. Make sure like a new washcloth or it's pretty darn clean because the only time you use it is for the compresses. Okay, read it in warm hot water, fold it up like a burrito or a bedroll or what is it in French? I had this problem before. Anyway, you fold it up and like this, and then you wring it out, and then on the upper lid, you put on your upper lid and you massage downward. I mean, you got to go downward. And then lower lid, you got to massage upward. Why do we do that? Because right here we have these things called meibomian glands. And that was the word that I said I'll explain to you later. So if you ever look and if you could see that small, you'll see these little dots underneath the eyelashes and right on the lid. Okay. And sometimes, a lot of times, they get clogged up. And that's because that mucus layer is all that's left. You've got the oil and you've got the mucus because the water part has evaporated and it clogs up these pores. And then what happens is you get the styes and you get a lot of other stuff and you guys because you don't wash your eyes and face very often. You'll get you get this blepharitis and you get these little EBGBs on the in the eye margins. And there he goes. Bam, I just lost somebody. When they talk, there's a commercial, and they talk about these little tiny critters that live on the eyelashes, and that's because the eyes are not washed. And so you need to keep them clean. It's really important. So the other part about this warm water compresses is if you're noticing you're having lots of problems with your eyes and your eyes are feeling just all dry and everything, take baby shampoo, no tears baby shampoo. And you can do one of two things. You can take a Q-tip and put it in there and then gently rub that Q-tip on that upper and lower lid and inside the margins, and then make sure you rinse it really well. I'm kind of lazy, so I just have the bottle in my shower and I pour it in my hand like I'm going to shampoo my hair, but I don't use that much. I just use a very little bit, and I just wash my eyelashes and eyelids. Simple. And what that does again is it cleans out anything that could be stuck in those meibomian glands. Let's clean out those suckers. Okay, increase hydration. So you cleaned your eyes. Now you put one drop of your favorite eye drop, and you do that by getting lower lid down with the F, the I was gonna say the F finger, the this finger. You look, and with the first finger and the thumb is you hold your eye drops, and then that's when you drop the one drop into the eye. Eye doesn't need much more than that. And then just make sure that it absorbs by taking your clean hands, pinky fingers, and gently touch the eyelid to make sure that it goes in and hydrates all parts of that eye. Okay. And then reducing excessive glare. That can happen a couple of different ways. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop this presentation and I'm keeping I want to keep this and I need to make sure you guys can see my screen because this is really important. This is something that you may not see most places. Okay. I'm going to go into my settings. Can you still see my screen? Can you see the settings part? Okay, great. And you go to display and I have my night mode off, but when I turn my night mode on, you'll see it's kind of a golden color. And if you make it bright, what that's going to do is that's going to be your first level of defense of all of those UV rays and all of those low emitting rays into your eye. So you see people wearing blue blocker glasses and they have sometimes a purple. Oh, here we go. I got them. Um, they got an anti-reflective coating in it that cuts the glare, and and you see it's kind of a purpley color, and hopefully you still see it with the yellow screen. So by putting your computer on night mode and having it go golden, and you can again the brightness you cannot have it so but it works here. So anyway, that's level one is on the computer. Level two is wearing a pair of glasses. And then when you go outside to wear a hat with a brim. Those are those are my tips on that one. So I'm going to go back to a bright screen. And so did that help? And did anybody have any question on that on what I just shared? Any questions? I don't see any. Okay, good. Okay, I'm going to continue then. Uh, oh, where are you? Here we go, PowerPoint. And hold on, I'm almost there. That it's like we have all of these little things that are covering stuff up. I'll fix it. There we go. I found it. Don't go anywhere. Okay, I think I'm caught up now. Navigating vision changes during menopause. It also includes food. And because I know a lot of you are into food, you know exactly where I'm going with this. Nutrition for tear health, because I've been talking about tears, and tears are really important part of navigating vision during menopause. So foods that support tear quality are the omega 3s, like the sardines, salmon, chia seeds, flax seeds, and walnuts. Antioxidants include, okay, one of my favorites is right smack in the middle. Spinach, kale, carrots, sweet potatoes, chocolate. How come there always is an opportunity to miss the chocolate. I don't know why they do that, but it's that the 98 or the 85% um that's the most important. The the really high end of cacao that makes a difference. All the sugar we don't need, but the other stuff we do. And all of these foods really do protect our ocular surface and retina. Ocular surface is that first layer of the tears, the cornea, which we see as the clear part, the white part, the sclera. Don't shoot until you see the sclera of their eyes. And then all those layers back. And by feeding the retina, we're also feeding our brain. Oh, how interesting. This is so healthy vision depends on the circulation, the nerve signaling, and tear stability. So when we're blinking, if we don't have those tears flowing, we can't feed the back of our eye. So all of this makes so much sense. I mean, sometimes do you ever feel like you have those brain dead moments where it's like, oh man, I can't think of that. What is that thing? I know that person's name. Oh, Cindy. Oh yeah, I remember. Okay, so all of this is that the tears feed the back of the eye, the retina, and there's a lot more technical names. And then that goes through the optic nerve that goes to the brain, that feeds the brain. Are you getting the picture? So this is also important. And that's why sometimes especially when I was in menopause, I could not think straight at all. And it wasn't my fault. I kept on saying, hey, I don't understand why I can't do this. And it didn't help sticking our head in the freezer. It may have cooled us off, but it cooled off our brain too. So um, as hormones decline, these systems need additional support. So that support sometimes needs an extra little boost from our foods. Key nutrients, key nutrients are the omega-3 fatty acids. Those primarily improve tear stability. Lutein and zeaxanthin, that's for the macula and the back of the eye, feeding the rods and the cones, primarily the cones. And is that what this part that I'm covering? Yeah, supports the macula. And Magnesium and circulation ingredients are nutrients are they support the optic nerve. And examples of that are the dark leafy greens, eggs, avocado, pumpkin seeds, and citrus fruit. Now, I just need to share with you um, something that I talk about in one of my other programs. Foods need to have a support system. So eating spinach alone, like what Popeye the Sailor Man would do, is only part of the equation. It needs to be paired with an egg yolk or an avocado in order to do what it needs to do to be absorbed into our system. And we need to have the magnesium, as some of these other people have shared with you, in order to be able to relax enough to be able to have a good night's sleep. And that's something that we need to feed the brain. It's such a cycle. So I'm on at this point talk about vision longevity after hormones decline. And those are just simple eye exercises. And I think I'm doing okay with timing. Okay. So some exercises that encourage the eyes to relax include a blinking reset. And what that is basically closing your eyes and rolling them in a figure eight. You can do the figure eight up and down, all around, or side to side like an infinity sign. And that does a couple of things. First of all, it gets us to close our eyes. So important that sometimes we just need to give that part of us a break. So take a moment right now and close your eyes. I'm trying to shrink this down a little bit so that the block doesn't cover. There we go. I'll just move it around. There we go. So right now, close your eyes and have your eyes do a figure eight. Squeeze and then open up. Now, what happens is after you squeeze, sometimes you do these little fast blinks. That's called reflex blinking. And that's a good thing. Okay, now a different exercise when closing your eyes, and that's combining that wonderful breathing of 666. And I use 666 because that's the European way for testing eye vision. So instead of it's the metric version of the 20-20-20 rule that we did earlier, 666. So while closing your eyes, breathe in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale through the nose. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, I've had training both ways that you really need to exhale through the nose because of whatever excuse or explanation they gave me. Or you have to exhale like you're exhale through a straw. And I don't remember the explanation for that. Anyway, that's another exercise for just relaxing the eyes and just giving your eyes a break. And then the third one I have here is relax and wake up your brain. And what that is that place of just taking the head and rolling it. And I call it looking up and looking at a positive outlook on life and looking down and really stretching the back of your neck to say, okay, wake up, body, and look up again and seeing all the wonderful possibilities and then looking down and saying, okay, there's a lot down there that I need to look into. Okay, so that I do that 6 times every morning. And then the other one is is going from side to side. So I turn my head to one side and I say, wow, okay, that's my marker for today. And then I turn the other way and I say, okay, that's my marker. I don't want to miss any blind spots in my day today. So I go back to that first one and I hit the marker and I go a little bit further and I say, oh, that's a blind spot I could have missed had my neck not been extended. And then I go back and hit my marker, go a little bit further and go, that's another blind spot that I'm glad I'm not missing today. And I do that exercise and repeat it 5 times. And the third one that I do is around the world. And this one always just feels so good. And that's starting down, going to the side where the ear and the shoulder try to meet, going all the way back, the other shoulder and the ear, and then down. And I go the opposite direction. And the reason why this always feels so good is because it does so much for our whole body. But when waking up, all of that with the neck, it stimulates all of those nerves that go back here that go again to that limbic part of the brain, and then it goes back out through that optic nerve to our eyes so we can actually see more clearly. So sometimes many of you could see me. I'm watching the Zoom and I could just be going like this because that's an easy way for me to stretch my neck and it doesn't look too weird. Okay, back to the presentation. Longevity continues. Distance focus. I want you to just, again, look away from the computer and look at least 20 seconds. And what that does is it relaxes the eye because the eye is turned in. And what happens is when we're looking at the computer or we're looking at reading or even on the cell phone, our eyes are turning in. It's called converging. And so what happens is think of it like this. You're doing your muscles and how much can you hold, how long can you hold your hands like this? Well, I don't know. I could do it for maybe a minute or two, but I wouldn't want to spend all day like that. And what are we doing? We're spending all day like this while we're on the computer. So that's why when we look up and look out, it's like we're giving our body a rest. We're giving our eyes, we're giving everything a rest so that we're not in this position all the time. Okay. So then we're gonna go to a really interesting exercise from here, and I think that many of you may know where I'm going. It's called palming. Now notice in the picture that the guy is putting his hands, his fingers over his eyes. Now, why would it be called palming if a person's taking their fingers and putting it over their eyes to do the exercise? It doesn't make sense to me. Our palm of our hand is in a very specific location. So I see people doing this exercise and they take their fingers and they put it over their eyes. I'm going to correct this and put the palm over your eye, between the eye orbit. Now, in order to do this, let me explain it. We got to warm up our hands. Let's get the energy in our hands. Okay. Yeah, best to do it without the spectacles on. We're warming up our palm of our hands. And what we're doing is we're giving our eye energy. Now we're taking the palm of our hands and putting it in over our eye such that it's in that what's called the eye orbit. Now, take your shoulders and roll them back and roll them down. And let's take a breathing exercise of 6, 6, and 6 while we're doing our palming. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Keep your hands there. I want you to close your eyes. And I want you just to dream of nothing. Fabulous. Okay, now, when you bring your hands down, spread your fingers, and you can open up your eyes and massage the outside and the inside of your eyes. So the inside, you'll feel a little ball. That's called the canthus. On the outside of the lids. And there's another component there. It's called the ciliary bodies that are inside. And you're stimulating them. Okay. Fabulous. What I normally do is I normally have somebody either take a look at their keyboard or the names on the screen and compare the quality of the vision before doing the palming and then after doing the palming. Because this exercise originally was for people to help them with their distance vision. I find it's fabulous for the intermediate vision of the computer. Because even after doing this, just these exercises that I've done just now, the screen and the names on the screen are already more clear. What a fabulous concept. Okay. Thank you, Cindy. So let's get that box out of the way. Warm the hands for the eyes for 30 seconds and then keep your eyes covered for, I like to do this, the palming whole exercise, for at least a minimum of 5 minutes. And if you do it for 6 minutes, great. If you do it for 30 minutes, great. Whatever works for you. The more we relax our body, more we relax our eyes, possibility, the more it will enhance the clarity of our vision. So let's kind of get to home stretch around here. And so we're taking care of our eyes means taking care of our whole body. Hormone changes affect many parts of the body, including the eyes. Understanding these changes allows women to reduce discomfort, protect their vision, and stay productive and comfortable. And the good news is there are many practical ways to support healthy tears and clear vision at every stage of life. I'm Katie, and I approve of that message. Does anybody have any questions? I think I kept it to about 40 minutes, right?
People can ask them directly, but we have one in the chat that says, "Do you know of eye drops with glass bottles?" I haven't seen that in years.
I haven't either. And so there's a couple of reasons. Number one, they went, that's why they went to those little refresh tears in little ampules, is because I can only handle one drop at a time. Yeah, thanks, Cindy. And the glass, if a person drops glass. Now, okay, so how many of you have ever heard of radial keratotomy? It was one of the first generations of surgeries that was done to reshape the eye to help people see more clearly at a distance. And what that was basically um, it came about because of somebody in the Air Force got shrapnel in his eye, And when it was pulled out, he saw better because he needed glasses before and he didn't need glasses afterwards. So they developed this. So I think it's just to protect the eye from any glass that could shatter. Otherwise, I have no clue, no clue whatsoever.
Does anyone else have any questions?
And I want to thank you all very much for supporting, putting your ones and stuff in the chat. That was fabulous. I love that participation. Um,
Well, I guess you were so comprehensive that everyone is overwhelmed and they have no other questions.
um, Regarding the computer, excessive use of the computer and astigmatism, I haven't heard that, but let me say that with excessive use of the computer, okay, again, the eyes are turning in, we don't blink. So what happens is it's more of a tear factor than the shape of the eye. The astigmatism means two prescriptions are needed. So because of different components, the primary one is because of the shape of the eye. Generally, what's used in the offices are eye shaped more like a football than a baseball. And there are other reasons why a person has astigmatism. Uh, the main reason why all of this stuff happens with computers, it's the tears. It's the tears and hydration. So number one, hydrate, drink more water or purified water in any sense. And tea needs to be herbal tea, not caffeinated. Coffee doesn't work at
What
all,
happened?
even if it's decaffeinated. And you guys in this community know more about this than anybody else. And I'm sure you guys can come up with lots of alternatives.
Okay. Are you it might be some one of those weird satellite.
Also, I was trying to connect to my message thing on my cell phone, and it puts the X. So something.
I'm Lauren, I didn't hear the end of your question. Does anybody else have any other questions? Because like Lauren kind of dropped off.
Yeah, maybe she's having internet problems. But
Hey,
I'm glad your internet was good throughout. And I just
yay!
welcome the information. And I have, I've put up yesterday's um, wonderful presentations on all the scientific backgrounds that people can look at, but also really, we have so many tools that were not even available 5 years ago. So, in that,
Absolutely.
we'll tell you everything.
Yeah.
But, Katie,
My
as always, you give practical, actionable information. And I picked up some new eye massage and I'm going to put it immediately to use.
Thank you.
So,
And for my gift, it's I did go back to the digital eye strain survival kit. If somebody has not picked it up, pick it up. You know, it's my gift to you. Okay. Thank you, Cindy. And I'm glad you still learned something from me. How exciting.
absolutely. Well, and this wraps up day 2, but tomorrow we're going to have even more people sharing their expertise. So we have lots of topics covered from lots of different angles. You know, changing hormones is a huge situation in life that is very underutilized in the medical literature. So we're not medicalizing it. We're actually saying you can be the boss of your hormones. And with that, I'm going to turn off the recording.